This is Kathy Biehl of EmpowermentUnlimited.net with Astro-Insight for the week of May 29th, 2023. Have you been feeling a bit stuck in place or perhaps pulled in multiple directions, feeling immersed in the problem that doesn't seem to really go away? Movement starts to break through this week, and also a feeling of higher purpose or sweetness or simply feeling glad to be alive, and then bursting and releasing some of the pent up frustration and emotions and seeing things in a different way, probably in a way that ultimately benefits you. Last week, we were laboring under, or stymied by, a fixed grand cross. And this week it mutates into a fixed T-square, far more dynamic, with Mars in Leo opposite Pluto in Aquarius, and both bearing down on Jupiter in Taurus, traveling with the North Node. A big difference is that the players in this are moving apart rather than moving at each other, and there's a sensation of things loosening up a bit. That'll happen increasingly as we get into the month of June and Mars moves further into the sign of Leo. Now, Mars in Leo fires us up to be very self-expressive, to push ourselves forward in really dramatic ways. Or maybe you're just watching other people do that. That hits a bit of a limit or a requirement to adjust, to calibrate how we're going about things when Mars makes the first important aspect of the week on June 1st, a quincunx or inconjunct to Saturn, planet of adulting, lord of order and structure. We can't just run rampant or act like toddlers or exhibit the entitlement fit for baby boomers. There are some limits. There's something coming saying, nope, wall, nope, obligation, nope, accountability, shift gear, go about things differently. The focus, it's important to keep in mind, is that pair in the middle of the T-square. Jupiter in Taurus conjunct the North Node in Taurus, putting emphasis on our material experience of the world, of our bodies, of life, of our resources. Everything that happens comes down to what does it mean in physical reality. Keep that in mind because there's going to be an event toward the end of the week that's going to inflame all kinds of philosophy and theory and beliefs and systems of thinking. But the importance of everything is what does it mean down here next to me in my life, in my ability to physically experience life, in my ability to find food, shelter, clothing, and most of all, what does it mean for my bank account? The next step of the journey this week is uncommonly beautiful. On the 2nd, we have a moment that could lift us out of the everyday, the dreariness, the doldrums. The two rulers of love and inspiration, Venus and Neptune, are in a trine, which is a really easy flow of energy. With Venus in Cancer, this could trigger a tremendous amount of sentimentality, of wistfulness, of having to find tissue and dab your eyes as we're watching something on a streaming service or a TV or even just a stupid little video online. This link is terrific for creativity, for experiencing life as a romantic comedy, for seeing the divine in everyone and everything, and if only for a moment, feeling life transcend the daily grind. All the feminine and receptive aspects of existence are getting this gigantic boost from forces that aren't here on the ground at the same time as all of the masculine and assertive forces are getting massive power-ups from a grand trine in fire that is part of the Sagittarius full moon on the 3rd or 4th, depending on where you are. Now, full moons always accelerate, amplify, exaggerate, heighten emotional experience and dramas. Sagittarius is not known to be an emotional sign. It is more philosophical, it's more lighthearted, it has a strong don't pin me down streak. It also has a pretty strong streak of I know what's right and don't you dare tell me otherwise. This moon is in an unbroken flow with Mars in Leo and Chiron in Aries, which is ruled by Mars. And this trio could give a lot of the full moon dramas a decided flavor of aggression, of long-standing woundedness, thanks to Chiron, of huge toxic masculinity issues, thanks to Chiron. Fighting over beliefs, smell like politics to anybody? And with the Venus-Neptune link preceding this event, the plight of women, families, children as victims or sacrifice could be especially in focus. So the dramas and the releases coming from this will likely have a lot to do with the differing theories that we have about how reality works, probably with a lot of boisterousness, probably with a fair amount of fighting, and definitely with a terrific amount of talk, and believe it or not, flexibility, because the grounding cord to this grand trine, turning it into a kite and keeping it from blazing completely out of control, is the sun in the sign of Gemini. Multiplicity, duality, flexibility, lots and lots and lots of thinking, talk, communication, and a good deal of that will have a lot to do with stuff down here on Earth in very practical considerations, because the moon is in an adjustment aspect to Mercury in Taurus, which is right up against his crazy genius uncle Uranus. Startling information, new way of looking at things, game-changing plot twists, causing shifts in how we express our emotions, shifts in how we feel about things, and from the other direction, all the fieriness leading to a need to rethink and come up with unconventional solutions and approaches to very material matters. And that takes us to the final aspect of the week, which is an actual meeting between Mercury and Uranus on the 4th. Conscious mind fusing with higher mind. This is Epiphany Central. This is Benjamin Franklin flying a kite in a storm and harnessing electricity. This is insight, breakthrough, innovation. And it's available to each of us in our lives, as well as to the collective. If you hear all this and think, uh-oh, go back to the first big aspect of the week, Mars in an adjustment aspect to Saturn, and know that each of us has the very strong probability of reining in our most childlike impulses and channeling them into more of a responsible course of action before we go into this firestorm. And you know, fire purifies, burns away. You may very well want to end the week with a fire ritual. If nothing else, it'll be really fun. Homing thought of the week, show me another way to look at this. Song of the week, I've got two, 30,000 Feet by Ben Rector, and a favorite, A Change Would Do You Good by Sheryl Crow. And the image of the week is sitting around a campfire, roasting a marshmallow for s'mores, and watching it go up in flames, and eating it anyway. You'll find out more about this in my forecasts for the month of June and the Sagittarius full moon, both of which are already up at my site, empowermentunlimited.net, where you can sign up for my mailing list and get a Jupiter in Taurus guide as a download. Listen to these weekly forecasts and book a session with me. I'm Kathy Biehl, a professional astrologer with more than 30 years' experience. I host the show Celestial Compass on Om Times Radio on the first and third Monday of every month at 5 p.m. Eastern. I also host lively conversation on Facebook on the page Empowerment Unlimited and the group The Astro-Insight Lounge. I have lots of bonus content at patreon.com/Kathy Biehl, and I'm really grateful to the people who support my work there. I'm on Instagram at @KABiehl and on YouTube at the Professional Aquarian channel. Talk to you next week.